Well, good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us for tonight's Collette Virtual Travel Night. I'm Greg Berry, Director of Communications in the Office of Alumni Affairs. Since we're virtual, please excuse issues that may pop up. If you have problems with your video or audio, just refresh your screen or click reconnect to get back to the presentation quickly. Now, to gauge your interest, a quick question as we begin. Which of tonight's trips are you most excited about or interested in learning more about? November's South Pacific Wonders, December's Discover Christmas Markets, next March's Spotlight on Tuscany, next April's Tropical Costa Rica. The British landscapes, as of today, has been removed. It's been canceled, so that is not an option anymore. I removed that from the list. Go ahead and submit your vote when you can. We're going to go ahead and leave the poll up for a little bit so you can select that response that best reflects you. A heads up to our live attendees, our virtual travel night is being recorded. Once it's been uploaded onto our website, you will get a replay link. Tonight we have Jack Brinson back with us from Collette. Collette's Senior Business Development Manager for Alabama, South Georgia, and Northwest Florida. Jack's been with Collette for nearly 2 decades and has traveled to more than 50 countries on 6 continents. Now, before we turn things over to Jack to highlight our trips, I wanted to share the results of the first poll of the evening. I'll go ahead and stop it there. It looks like the biggest ones are going to be the South Pacific Wonders, Jack, 40%. 40% also pick the Discover Christmas Markets for this December. Costa Rica. I'm very surprised on the Tuscany number. Not many people picked the Tuscany Spotlight on Tuscany. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Jack back to our webinar series. We're looking forward to hearing more about these trips. Jack, the presentation and the deck is yours.
Thank you very much, Greg, and thank you all for tuning in this evening. Always a pleasure working with UAB. And we are Collette. We've been around 107 years. We are a debt-free family-owned company out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and we give away the trips on Wheel of Fortune. So if you ever tune into the wheel, for the past 30 years, we have given away the trips on the wheel. And Pat and Vanna have gone on our tours. And one of the other things about Collette, in our 3rd generation, and Jacqueline Sullivan, the daughter of Dan Sullivan, is now the president and CEO of Collette. And so that being said, in our 3rd generation, debt-free, family-owned company. So this is what we specialize in. 4-star or better accommodations, strategically located throughout so that when you do have free time, everything is relatively close to where you're going to be. Everything is facilitated by a tour manager that meets you in the destination. They load your bags onto the coach, take you to the hotel, go and get your hotel keys, bring them out to you, take your bags to your room. You do not stand in any lines. You do not think when you go on these trips. And your tour manager is with you from the time you arrive in country to the time they put you on a plane and send you home. Another thing that we do on our tours with Alumni Association in particular is we not only offer a hometown pickup, but we also have a door-to-door sedan service for those that live elsewhere. So this is what we specialize in, and really where our focus is we do fewer one-night stays. And we don't typically stay in one hotel and then turn around and stay in another one and another and another. We will not do that to you. The pacing of the tour is appropriate for every destination. Our tour managers and product managers and people like myself actually do these tours ahead of groups so that we can give our feedback on the pacing of the tour. So we're never going to keep you on the motor coach longer than 2 hours at a given time. The pacing as far as it goes, you're going to be typically multiple nights in most of your destinations. And the Spotlight tour we're going to talk about today is, in fact, a 1 hotel stay. And we do a balance on choice on tour. So when we get to a destination, you have a choice to do A or B that particular day. Now, they're both included. You just pick whichever one would best benefit you or you might get the most out of. Culinary immersion. So when you go on our Tuscany tour, for instance, you're going to not only have a Tuscan feast, but you'll also have an opportunity one evening to do a pasta making class. And we'll also immerse you in the culture on that trip as well. So we try to do that on most of our tours. And we take you into a private a cheese estate, and they show you how they make that smoked Parmesan cheese. So our tour managers are labeled as the best in the industry. We have over 500 of them that partner with us. They choose to partner with us. And so that gives you an idea of how they operate as far as that goes. Now, the first tour we're going to talk about today is the Enchanting Christmas Markets. This tour was a brand new tour for this year. We held all the space this past year, and all the space that I could get for groups has already been allotted. So we do have a certain amount of space held for UAB, but above and beyond that, all of the space has been sold out. So I'm glad we were able to secure this when we did. The last time we offered this tour was in 2011 for the 2012 season. And then we cycle our tours in and out periodically over the years, and people have been clamoring for a Germany, Switzerland, and France tour. So 9 days, 11 meals. This is a map of the area you're going to be touring. As you can see, your multiple nights everywhere you're going to be traveling on this trip. You got Germany, France, and Switzerland. So the flow of this tour, this is a classic tour, 37 passengers on average, 44 max. The bus holds 49, but we never take it that far. So the most we would ever take would be 44. However, the average group size is 37. The activity level is 3 on this tour, so up to 2.5 hours of on-feet touring per day. So we'll either tour in the morning and have the afternoon off, or vice versa. Same characteristics on all of these tours we're going to talk about today. And so you'll see this slide a few times, so I won't reiterate it every single time. I'll just kind of go over it now. There's an activity level of 3, so roughly 2.5 hours on your feet. So we're going to start off in Le Petit, France, so Strasbourg. So you'll get a chance to see this beautiful Bavarian touch in this French region that butts right up to the Black Forest. And they have a walking tour that you'll do, and it'll actually end at Strasbourg Cathedral. You'll actually go into the markets at night. What I love about the Christmas market tours is you get the history tour during the day, and then you get the magic of the markets at night. And this particular tour is unique because each village you go to has their own unique porcelain mug that they put their Glühwein in. And you can buy the Glühwein mug. Generally, it's 2 to 3 euros, I think is what it was last time I was there. And then if you buy the Glühwein, and if you do not want the mug, you give it back to them, and they give you your money back for the mug. If you want to keep it, certainly you just keep it. And so this is an amazing tour as far as that goes. The layout of it, the mornings when you get up, you go out and you do your tour. You have the mid part of the afternoon off, and then you come back in. And we're going to take you through the old town of Regensburg. Get a chance to see the cathedral there. You'll also get a chance to learn about the history of Regensburg. You'll have a very nice dinner that evening. And don't worry, you'll have coffee, tea, wine, your local beer, etc. So it'll be a feast that evening. And then we'll take you into the old town where the markets are. So the old town will be lit up for you. And we base this tour around Advent, the Advent calendar. So we operate it when we know all of the markets will be open. And then we'll even take you into the German Christmas Museum. So you'll learn about the history of that. You'll learn about the farmers, and they were very poor from that region. So they had to supplement their income somehow. So they resorted to whittling. And even St. Nicholas was a peddler. And he would carve up these wooden toys for kids, and a lot of them were faith-based, and he would go around and try to deliver them on Christmas Eve. And the rumor is Satan would bring up blizzards and whatnot to try to prevent him from delivering the spirit of Christmas. So over there, on St. Nicholas Day, it's December the 6th, you'll see people dressed up as saints and the exact opposite of saints. You'll learn all about that with the Christmas Museum. Now, here's one of these choice on tours I was telling you about. So you'll take a historic city tour, or you can basically just add another town and do a historic center tour. So you basically just pick whichever one you would like. And of course, you could sign up for one, and then your guide may persuade you to do one or the other, depending on what your interests are. But the point is, you choose. You pick the experience that day, and depending on the weather, you may pick one or the other. So bring you back into Strasbourg. You'll get a chance to go in the market, see the ornaments, the pewter. They even have Hummels there as well, but you'll get them in Germany also. Another thing that we're going to be doing too is we're going to be adding a new town on this tour also. So Colmar, you're going to get a chance to see this beautiful town and the beautiful Bavarian touch in this town as well. As you can see, the pictures are amazing, but the pictures do it no justice. We have a tour manager that only tour guides this particular area. In fact, we have 4 or 5 that are excellent, but we have some that live right here in these towns, and they can take you all behind the scenes. When you get to Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake, you can see in the right hand side of the picture there, that is Chapel Bridge. In the late 80s, the bridge caught on fire. The murals, some of them got damaged. They put them in a museum. They reconstructed it. But there's 112 murals painted in the top of that bridge. And this is where you see all those beautiful swans typically. And the funicular is also there. And also the Dying Lion Monument. So you'll see all of that while you're there. But Lake Lucerne is amazing. It's a beautiful city. And if you would like to get something a little extra, maybe some swatches or Swiss Army knives, etc., that's where you would probably want to get some of that stuff, is right here in this town. And excellent tour, though, from start to finish. I can't say enough nice things about this tour. I had a couple of universities in the state of Alabama that have done this trip back when we previously offered it 2 years in a row, and got some of the same group and more people the next year. So fabulous tour from start to finish. Again, a brand new tour. Another tour we're going to talk about is a spotlight on Tuscany. This is a 9-day program in the heart of Tuscany. Roughly, I mean, I didn't mention it on the last slide there on the last tour, but these are all overnight flights, and you'll arrive in typically mid-morning to late morning as far as that goes. So spotlight on Tuscany, 9 days, 11 meals. What I love about this particular tour, 9 days, 1 hotel. And there is a Rome pre-extension for 3 nights that is a fully guided tour. But you basically will go out each day, and I'll show you your hotel in a minute, and you come back to 1 hotel. And folks thoroughly love this. And what the people that typically love a tour like this are the people that like the cruise. And why do people like the cruise? They don't like to pack and unpack. And you get to basically stay in one place without having to pack and unpack each day. And you get to see this entire region that is heavily focused on Tuscany. Again, this is a average group size of 37, maximum of 44. Activity level of 3, again, 2.5 hours on your feet. And this is a view from your hotel. So you get an idea of what you're getting in this town. This is a spa town. But when I say spa, I don't mean spa as in massages and whatnot. It is a water spa town. So fountains, etc. So a spa in that respect. So Montecatini Terme is going to be your home for the next 7 nights. And so you'll have a very nice welcome Tuscan feast. Everything from your salads, your local salamis, cheeses, olive oil, breads, etc., all the way to tiramisu for dessert. And again, you'll have unlimited wine on any of our Italian tours. And part of the reason is because a can of Coke costs more than a bottle of wine. So we'll take you out to Lucca, which is not very far from where you're going to be staying, maybe about 45 minutes or so. Head out into Lucca, and you'll see this beautiful Gothic town. It's absolutely beautiful, that medieval touch. We'll take you in the piazza. We'll show you around this town. You really get into the Tuscan feel. They actually say you slow down in your pacing, your time, as far as that goes. Now, we are going to take you to a local Tuscan winery. You'll tour the winery itself. You'll learn about the barrels, how many years of use they get out of them, the harvest season of the grapes. So when do they harvest the whites, et cetera, and the reds, and then how do they make the blushes, all that stuff. But you'll learn all of that there. You'll learn the tasting process, and then they'll have some pairings with it also. And they don't use any sulfides and whatnot in their wine, so you don't get that headache when you drink it. From there, we're going to take you to the cradle of the Italian Renaissance, Florence, and you will duplicate this very picture here. You can see the bridge there off in the distance, Ponte Vecchio. You'll also see the Duomo. You can barely see the Church of Santa Croce that houses the tombs, Michelangelo, Machiavelli, Galileo, a lot of those folks for you. You're going into a town that is in essence, it is the cradle of the Italian Renaissance. Off to the right, you can barely see the Church of Santa Croce that I just mentioned. And yeah, you can climb up to the top of the cathedral. And this is also the town. It's known for a lot of things. So it's known for its gold. It's known for its leather. But this is where they invented gelato. And I think Greg can even tell you they make a pretty mean steak as well. So the Florentine steaks are unbelievable. This is my favorite town to visit in all of Italy. So this is one of the main piazzas here. This is right outside of the Accademia. As of this year, they don't let tour operators buy tickets for the entire group anymore. So they sell through a third-party vendor like Viator, etc. Basically, what it is they make 30 to 40% commission selling to individuals, so they don't allow tour operators to do it. That started this year, unfortunately. But we haven't had any issues with folks being able to get tickets. You have to wait until 45 days prior to departure to purchase the tickets on the day you're going to be in Florence if you want to do that. And so you will get a chance to go in. If you do purchase your tickets, you'll see a lot of unfinished work by Michelangelo, by the way. And he was a perfectionist. You'll see some stone that he started chiseling on, and he just stopped because he found imperfections. And they finally brought in this piece from the Venetian region. And immediately when he saw it, he said, David is in there. I have to get him out. And he carved him from a vision. He didn't have laser cutting tools, didn't have any of that stuff. It was pretty amazing what he was able to do and how perfect David is. But there are 3 statues of Davids in Florence. There's a fake one that you're looking at here that was created for the World's Fair. And it was rumored someone was going to steal the statue of David, so they sent the fake one instead. The real one's inside, and they have a bronze one in Plaza de Vecchio. So afterwards, you'll have some free time to explore the city independently and before we move on. So the next day, you'll have a choice on tour. You can do a Montecatini at leisure tour, basically just kind of a lazy walkthrough of the town. Or you can do the Gothic line tour. So you'll learn about how the Italians were originally siding with the Axis power, and they kind of broke ties with that. They actually ended up helping the Allied forces divide the Nazi forces. They did that at the Gothic line. You'll also see Devil's Bridge on that Gothic line tour. So that is the Gothic line, Devil's Bridge. And then you'll have some free time to explore in the town of Montecatini Terme. And we will then take you to the Republic of Pisa, and you can see the top of it. They kind of leveled it off. And yes, you can go up. It's 7 stories tall. It's leaned ever since the day it was built. We don't spend an exorbitant amount of time here because most people just come here to do this right here. And so we will allow you to do that, and then we will take you to the baptistry where Galileo was baptized, so you'll get some free time to go and see that too, but you will do a walking tour of it. From there, we're going to take you, and you will have a pasta making class. Now, it's Emeril Lagasse style, so you better pay attention because at the end of it, you're going to sample what it's supposed to taste like versus what you came up with. So it'll be a pretty neat experience from start to finish, and I think you'll like that afternoon. From there, we'll take you into a unique town of Siena. I love that we included it on this season. It was an option in previous years, but this town is absolutely beautiful. You can actually, picture was taken from halfway up of the bell tower. You can actually go all the way up. If you go all the way up, you'll see where it starts in the middle of the town and it swirls outward from there. But you can barely see these posts that outline the bricks in the square there. And just imagine, if you will, 30,000 people or so in this square, roped off at 5 p.m. in the fall for a horse race that takes place on cobblestone. And the most unique thing about it is they place their money on the horse, not the rider, because riders can be bought and manipulated. They throw things at the rider to knock them off of the horse. So if you're the rider, you are not the rock star. This is not the Kentucky Derby. So they try to knock them off, get them out of the way. So it's a very unique horse race, and it's home to the world's oldest bank. Love this town, right in the heart of the Tuscan region. From there, we to a cheese farm visit. You'll learn all about the smoked Parmesan, and obviously you will get to try the finished product and some different pairings with it, what it goes well with and whatnot. So that'll be a very nice farm visit for you. We then take you into San Gimignano for another private winery tour and tasting, and then you'll have some free time in Montecatini afterwards, and before we have a very nice farewell dinner. And that is an excellent tour, though, from start to finish. Can't say enough nice things about Tuscany. It's a one hotel stay. There is a fully guided Rome pre-extension that will feature the Arch of Constantine, the Trevi Fountain, the Roman Forum, the Colosseum, Spanish Steps, all of that stuff. There's even a foodie tour with it. You have an opportunity to go to St. Peter's Basilica and see all of it, Victor Emmanuel Monument, etc. Excellent pre-extension. You would actually travel most likely via train to get from Rome to Florence to meet the guests for the actual the beginning of the tour when this tour is over with, the pre-tour, or they take a bus, but generally it's by train. And yes, we help with all of that. Another tour we're going to talk about is Costa Rica, tropical Costa Rica, 9 days, 14 meals. Again, very characteristic of what we do. As you can see here, multiple nights everywhere on this trip. And then there is even an extension to Tortuguero. The good thing about this trip is only about a 3.5-hour plane ride from Atlanta, and it's on Central Time, so you'll virtually feel no difference when you get there. What I like about this tour is the pacing of it. This is generally a 2, roughly, as far as the activity level. Although you'll get the jitters when you go to this coffee plantation. They'll kind of walk you through it, show you everything there is to know about the coffee plantation. You can buy some of the beans, etc., when you're there, and obviously you're going to get a chance to sample the coffee, the finished product. They'll even let you sample the beans as well. And they'll talk about how altitude affects the quality of the bean and obviously how much precipitation and all that it takes to make sure they grow nice and healthy. From there, we're going to take you into Lake Arnold. This is where you're going to be staying, right at the base of that amazing volcano. Up until 2012, it actually had neon running down the sides of it, of the volcano. This is not an erupting volcano. This is a magma flowing volcano, so it's a lot nicer than the other ones that we've seen going off here not too long ago. And but that's going to be your home. You'll see the hot thermal springs while you're there. We're going to do a couple of cruises while we're there. The Cano Negro cruise will actually take you out and show you some of the sloths, the monkeys, and even some of the reptiles that are along the river. So that's a pretty interesting excursion for you. That is included. And so there's the white-faced monkey there. They will tell you, do not bring any snacks with you or you'll make some unwanted friends. You won't be able to get rid of them. And they will reiterate that. You'll have a little bit of free time at the resort in the afternoon. And then from there, we take you to a family-owned farm, and you'll visit with them that afternoon. And then you'll have a nice meal prepared for you. So that's another cultural moment that you'll get with that. We'll also take you on Lake Arnold for a beautiful cruise as well around the volcano. And so that'll be a nice laid back afternoon also. And then that's another view of Lake Arnold. And then of course we'll move on from there to Monteverde. You are staying in Monteverde. You're staying in the cloud forest, not 60 miles away. You are in the cloud forest. And while you're there, you'll have a choice on tour to see a couple of things. You'll get a chance to go and see the butterfly sanctuary. You'll learn about the 100 different species of hummingbirds that they have in that area. And then you have the choice on tour for the hanging bridges, which I briefly mentioned. The hanging bridges and walking tour does include the butterfly sanctuary, and then of course the zip line canopy tour. So you know what you're going to get on the canopy tour. So that's the zip line there. From there, we're going to take you to the Upper Nicoya Peninsula, and we're going to stay 2 nights in Guanacaste. So Guanacaste is a beautiful area. It's a blue zone. It's one of 5 blue zones in the world. And this is where people go live to be over 100 and healthy and whatnot. So there are 5 blue zones in the world. So Guanacaste, you're staying there. Views from the area from your hotel. This is your hotel looking down. You go down the pathway and you get right down to the beach there. Also, while you're there, you can do a kayaking tour. This is a guided kayaking tour, or you can snorkel with the dolphins. And then at the very end of the tour, you'll go back into San Jose, and then there is a jungle extension. And so that'll be a 4-day jungle extension into Tortuguero. You'll stay at an eco lodge. You'll do a couple more of the river cruises as well. You'll walk on the beach. You'll basically go where the sea turtles are. You'll have a naturalist kind of walk through the journey of the sea turtles. So that's a really unique extension on that trip if you would like to do that. And again, if you do any of our extensions, the Collette extensions, or any of our pre or post, if you want to arrive in a day early, as long as you use our airfare and our property, you'll still get the hometown pickup, the transfers, etc., regardless. Next tour we're going to talk about is Iceland's Magical Northern Lights. So this is a 7-day, 11-meal program. Iceland has been a buzz for quite a while now. The Northern Lights anomaly is that it fades in, it fades out on an 11-year cycle. We're at the tail end of that cycle, so more and more people are trying to go this year and next year. And so this is what it looks like. So a couple of nights in Reykjavik, 3 nights in Vik, and roughly a 7-hour plane ride to get there. And it is a unique destination. So into Reykjavik, as you can see, it's not detrimental looking. I just did a document meeting for a group that's going out in a week, and weather's in the upper 40s for them. And so as you can see, it's not abysmal. It's actually quite a beautiful country. And so you'll fly into Reykjavik, and we'll take you to the Parliament building. We'll show you Hallgrímskirkja, that beautiful church that looks like an iceberg, meaning you only see 10% of the iceberg, the top 10%, and the rest of it you don't see. You'll also meander around and might get one of those famous hot dogs that are there. This is just a typical looking meal as far as the welcome dinner goes. They are very healthy as far as the foods they eat. They has a lot of organic greenhouses, tomato soups, etc. And so a lot of their food has to be that way. If you are a Southern cooking person and you love your sodium content, your salt and your butter and whatnot, the food here will taste a little bland to you because, again, this food is more healthy. But every night after we do the touring, we are going to take you out to see the Northern Lights. And they even have an Aurora watch that you can download on your phone, and it lets you know when Aurora is going. Or you can tell the front desk to set a wake-up call if the Aurora is going on. It's not on a timer. It could be 9 to 9:15. It could be at 11 to 1. It could be 10 to 3. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours. You just don't know. And so what I love about this tour is you get a lot of uninterrupted landscapes. So you don't see a lot of rails and everything around everything. So you can see everything in its natural environment. We take you to several waterfalls. This is one. This is Golden Falls, Fuss's Fall. And the bus is actually in the top left-hand corner underneath where it says Gulfus. And folks like to meander around to get pictures of the fall up close, but you certainly don't have to, but you can see folks do. And then we're going to take you to Thingvellir National Park. This place was discovered in 980 AD. And what I love about it, what makes it so remarkable, is that you stand between two tectonic plates of a mid-ocean ridge above the waterline. So this is the mid-Atlantic ridge, or the start of the mid-Atlantic ridge, that starts here and it goes to the southern tip of Africa, about 10,000 miles. And you get to stand between two tectonic plates that are pushing apart, expanding the Atlantic Ocean by 1 inch a year. And this is the start of it. We will take you to the lava center also, so you learn about the lava tubes and how they're all interconnected with one another, and how lava basically makes up most of that island. The world-ending volcano is actually there, and so you'll learn all about it. Cannot pronounce it. I've given up on trying. So we'll take you out and show you yet some more waterfalls. As you can look to the right, the bottom right, you can see people there, just to give you a perspective on just how big the waterfalls are in relevance to the people. From there, we'll take you to Vic. That's where we're going to be staying the next few nights. And we are going to take you out and make a couple of stops. One of them will be the Black Beach. It has the same exact anomaly that happens here that happens in the northern part of Ireland. So in other words, Giant's Causeway. So you'll see the same anomaly here. A lot of lava rocks. The razorbill is the common bird in this particular area. You'll see them frequently throughout. And then we're making our way along the coast into Skoger, and you'll get a chance to see the Skoger Folk Museum. So you get a chance to go in and see some of these houses, learn about a lot of the Viking heritage as well. Eric the Red, his family was not too far from there. They moved there at one point. Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland, and he then founded Greenland. From there, we'll take you to Skogafoss waterfall, and so you will get a chance to walk up and see it, and then we'll take you into the Glacial Lagoon. And at night, from there is where you're probably going to get a chance to see some of your best Northern Light footage if it's going on. As you can see how amazing it is. Some of the pictures that I've got from folks that have done this trip in the fall and in the spring is absolutely amazing. This is Skaftafell. This is a glacier that's protruding out into the forest there. And again, another view of another glacial lagoon that we take you to. And you'll get a chance to see here not only the local wildlife, some of the seals and whatnot, but you'll also see, because the water is so clear, you will actually see the entire silhouette of some of these smaller icebergs. So there's another local there. And then, again, take you out at night and show you the wonders of Aurora. So we currently do not go to the Blue Lagoon as it's closed, but we do the Spring Lagoon and one more. We have a couple of different lagoons that we take people to. They're all three roughly the same. They're indoor and outdoor. This one's closed, obviously, because of its proximity to the volcanic activity. But the other two are absolutely fine. Have not had any complaints. Had groups go this past fall and already this spring, and no complaints of the other lagoons that they go to. It's very therapeutic. The high mineral content. You'll spend some time there in the lagoon. You can shower off inside. They have towels. They provide everything for you. But what an experience that's going to give you, though. Bring you back into Reykjavik, and then, of course, you will then fly out. And that is Hallgrímskirkja, that church there just to the right of the green top church. So before I go into the hometown pickup stuff, we are offering the Australia tour as well. It is a South Pacific Wonders. It is a 15-day tour. It is going to canvas New Zealand. The South Island is where it's going to focus in New Zealand, but it will start off in Christchurch. It will then go down to Milford Sound as well as Queenstown. You're going to spend an ample amount of time there. You'll see sheep shearing demonstrations. They'll even take you out to the filming for the Lord of the Rings, but you will do a cruise on Milford Sound as well, and out to the Tasman Sea and turn around and come back. They will also take you into some of the wine area. Believe it or not, they have a wine country there as well. And they store them in caves because of the temperature is roughly the same all year round. Then we fly you to Cairns and into the north part of Australia. You will spend a couple of nights there. You'll go to Hartley's Croc Farm. We'll take you out to the Great Barrier Reef. You can snorkel, or you can go to the outer reef. And if you want to scuba dive, or you want to do the partially submergibles or anything like that, you certainly can. And then from there, we bring you into Sydney. We'll tour the Sydney Opera House. We'll tour the Circular Quay. We'll take you over into Manly if you would like, give you some free time to see Bondi Beach and the zoo, and also take you to the opal mining facility. And then to cap it off, we're going to do a Sydney Harbor dinner cruise, and then you'll fly out. There is a Fiji extension on that trip also, if you're interested. And basically, it's just a relaxing experience in Fiji. So just hitting the high notes on that particular tour. And with any of our tours, we do a hometown pickup. So we'll pick you up locally as a group, take you to the airport, bring you back. If you live elsewhere, say you live in Huntsville, you live in Atlanta, you live somewhere else within 50 miles of a major airport, we pick up your house in a sedan. All of our rates on these tours are going to be land and air inclusive, an entire transportation package. So you can upgrade to elite airfare. You can arrive in a day early, stay a couple of days later. You can do back-to-back tours with us. Just let us know what your ambitions are, and we will work with you on that. Our insurance is unique to the travel industry in that you can cancel up to the day prior to departure. You get all your money back, no questions asked. Bad hair day policy. You can simply just say, I do not want to go on this trip. If you purchase that insurance, that is the Part A. The Part B is the medical insurance, medical evacuation, trip interruption, lost luggage, canceled flights, delayed flights. If you call home and someone in your immediate family needs you to come home, we refund you what you did not see on the tour and send you home. Passport Club, this is unique because just for being loyal to UAB on your next trip with us, and you will get an additional 5% off of your next trip. You travel within 1 year of your previous tour. Travel within 2 years of your previous tour, you'll get 3% off of your next trip. So you do not need a visa on these trips. In Europe, you probably heard about the ETIAS visa. I'll talk about it in the next slide. But you have to have a passport at least 6 months validity beyond the date of travel. And what I was alluding to just a minute ago, the ETIAS, starting in 2025, they say, they've been saying it for the past 2 years. But when this does go into effect, and I don't anticipate it to go into effect in the immediate future, but when it does, it'll be $8 roughly US, and it's good for 3 years beyond the date of purchase, and it gives you up to 90 days in any one of those countries. We're already doing it to European travelers coming over here. They're doing it back to us now. And if you go to the UK, the ETA, which is their version of this, is already in effect. So how do you reserve a seat? We have payment links online linked up to the UAB National Alumni Society page. And you basically click on the book now button or sign up now, and you can make your payments there. And you can make your payments as often as you'd like. There's no set payment structure. And as long as you're paid off by 90 days prior to departure. Generally, on most of our tours, the deposit is $698. That guarantees you a land and air seat on the tour. We do not charge credit card fees or administrative fees. We take checks. We take everything. So you can make your payments as frequently as you would like to get you there. And that is the presentation. I'll turn it back over to Greg. Any questions? I'm happy to help.
Yeah, the questions are going to start rolling in. I'm going to take that slide down, Jack, and I'm going to put the spotlight on you. I do want to throw up the one slide just because we promoted it. British Landscapes sold out. There's no spots. It's canceled. We don't have any room on that trip. Just want to make note of that. And this is the one that Jack was discussing as well, that we didn't have a full deck. And that's just because it's getting to the point where you have to make a decision on this trip. We have 2 months, I think, almost from the date. It looks like May 7th. So 2 months from tomorrow to decide on this trip. We have a couple travelers already. We've already gotten some interest as well. So if you're interested in this, act now. And as well as for the other one that we discussed off the top with the Discover Christmas Markets. As Jack said, for our audience, that one is a sellout. We have room because we have the partnership through Collette. So if that is one that you are interested in, get those questions in now, get the questions to us, get booked on that trip, because there's not going to be a lot of seats ready for that. I think we have a dozen or so for our alumni. So I know there's a lot of interest in that. So Jack, when it comes to these trips, I can speak firsthand. Jennifer Breland, our executive director, she's on this webinar as well. She can speak firsthand through the chat because she's not joining us in the chat room or in the live room, but the guides are remarkable. I was on the Memorials of World War II trip last June with one of my sons, and we had Andy. Andy Davis was fantastic throughout the entire trip. He took care of everybody, and he was the tour manager. And then you also had the tour guides that are separate, and they were wonderful as well. So with the questions, I've got one already here. Somebody's interested in the Christmas market, but do you use a specific airline through Collette?
We do not, but generally that part of the world we use Lufthansa because they have more lift ability. But we've used everybody. Generally, when we pick the flights, we'll get with Greg, and then we will pick which one would be most appropriate for the group of people going.
And talk a little bit about that too, because people may want to use airlines where they have points. So
Sure.
There's ways to travel as a group, but not necessarily as a group.
With the group, yeah. So we have folks that have 1 million miles with Delta or whoever, and they would like to purchase land only, and you can do that. There is a reduction in cost, and you basically just pay $100 for the transfers, and that's round trip. And you still get everything we just promised you, and then you get your airfare. You just submit the airfare to us so we know where to pick you up in the airport on the other end as well. So
if you have questions, go ahead and drop it in. We have plenty of time to talk travel with Jack, and we're always working with Jack to find trips that we feel will go well with our alumni. Jack and I just don't take things out of the hat. We definitely are very deliberate with what we offer, and we've done trips, many trips with Collette over the last few years, including coming right out of COVID with Costa Rica. To put people at ease, maybe talk a little bit about what happened during COVID, a little bit longer.
Sure.
I know you mentioned a little bit, but Collette was very responsive to its travelers.
we were the only company that gave people all of their money back, including their insurance during 2020. So we actually refunded $181 million back to folks. We not only gave them back their deposits, their full investment, we also gave them back their insurance. And so one of the perks of being a family-owned company, but Dan Sullivan wanted to do right by our guests, and it has helped us out exponentially coming out of it.
So we have a question, and I'll let you explain this a little bit more. The question is specifically, do we have any trips to Thailand? We don't right now. However, you can still travel through UAB Alumni on that trip. Jack, I'm going to drop that link in the chat, but I'll let you kind of discuss what they can do if they don't see a trip right here.
So if you don't see a trip that we're offering, you can actually go on gocollette.com. You can find any of our 172 tours, and you can simply pick that tour. You let Greg know, and when you book it through the Alumni Association, you get a discount for being a member of the alumni or a friend of the alumni. And then the day that it comes for you to travel. Again, door to door. If you live within 50 miles of Birmingham, 50 miles of Huntsville, 50 miles of Atlanta, pick you up, take you to the airport, and bring you back in the same fashion. And so we do have a Flavors of Thailand tour. We have a Kingdoms of Southeast Asia. We have a few tours that do that, but the Thailand tour, the Flavors of Thailand in particular, is the one you're looking for.
And Jennifer Breland, who is my boss, she's the one that dropped in, that she went to Shades of Ireland last March, and she had a fantastic time. Both of our groups were large enough that we were able to actually park at the Alumni House. We reserved spots at the Alumni House to make sure that our guests could come there before going to the airport. And then upon arrival, we all traveled back to the Alumni House together. Of these that we've discussed today, Jack, which is the most popular trip? Which one gets the most traction?
I mean, Tuscany is probably the most popular and generally, but as far as in previous years, I would have said Iceland's Northern Lights, but the only reason Iceland isn't there and the only reason Australia isn't the number one right now is strictly because of price. They're not the cheapest places to go, and rightfully so. You're going 15 days to Australia. So it's but as far as the Christmas markets tour, the one you picked is the most popular one right now for sure. As far as the Christmas markets go. Costa Rica is good for a variety of reasons. It's for people that don't necessarily want to go over the pond and they want to stay closer to home, but they want to get that extra experience outside of the U.S. And that's just close enough and just far enough to deliver all of that.
And we got another question. Where is Collette headquartered? I know we mentioned it off the top, but talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. So Collette is we're a U.S. based company. We're out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, just right outside of Providence, and we've been there since 1913.
With these trips, you mentioned Tuscany, and I can speak firsthand on that one. My wife and I went there about a year ago, just over a year ago, for our 25th anniversary, and it was amazing. So if anybody hasn't been to Tuscany, I can speak firsthand on that. I even took Jack's advice on a few places, including a bistecca alla Florentine at a great place. And you just wander around, you get lost, and you just soak in the atmosphere. It is just amazing. And, I'm trying to think of some other questions that may be important for the audience since I don't see anything rolling in. But is there one thing that you can provide our attendees to this webinar to kind of think about as they're going through the process of booking a trip, booking in a adventure with y'all?
I mean, we have 5 different travel styles. So depending on their interest, different tours have a different appeal to a certain amount of people. So, I mean, we have small group tours that are capped at 24 passengers, 15 passengers, 24 passengers. They're not for the everyday traveler. They're for the people that have already done Italy and have done Ireland, have done everywhere else. So those are going to be vastly different than your standard, let's hit the highlights tours. And so in other words, if you go on a trip to France on that tour, you would then go stay in nothing but chateaus. You go truffle hunting with a guy and his dog. We have yacht cruises. We have river cruises. We have holiday tours, which you just saw there. We have faith tours. We have your spotlight tours, and then you have your classic tours. So we have something for everybody. And we have a variety of tours that are within those countries that fit particular needs. Now, this particular tour to Italy just focuses on that Tuscan region. It needs no introduction. Everybody knows Tuscany. They don't really, maybe not necessarily know those cities, but they know Tuscany. They know Umbria. They've heard the name, but may not know exactly what it is. So this is a tour for people that want to get a more in-depth tour of Tuscany. Whereas a tour like the Costa Rica tour is going to canvas all that Costa Rica has to offer, its entire country tour. Australia, you're going to get your feet wet with it. You're going to hit the high points there, and you may want to go back and do an outback and whatnot later on. But as far as experiencing, what we have to offer and whatnot, the in-depth details are going to be in the brochure. Now, I can walk you through it all day long. I'm hitting the parts of interest that I feel like you'll be interested in. But when you take a read through some of those and you read what our customers are saying, because we read every survey on every tour that goes out, so we're constantly revamping everything that we do. But that is where you'll find out which one actually speaks to you. But all of these tours, I say this every year, and I mean it. It is the cheapest it's ever going to be, because travel is what everybody wants right now.
Talk a little bit again about the group sizes of the trips and what our travelers can expect when going on a Collette trip.
So on our standard classic tours, the average group size is 37. The max that we will take on any tour is 44. That is a classic tour. Bus holds between 49 and 56 passengers. And so we don't occupy that many on purpose. So you have some room to move around. Plus, when people are carrying extra bags, et cetera, you're able to accommodate all of that. Our small group tours are going to be 15 to 24 passengers, like I mentioned. So the African safaris are going to be between 15 passengers and 19 passengers because of the camp sizes and whatnot. And igloos and everything else. There's only so many of those on our small group tours.
And the great thing about the tours, too, if you haven't been on a tour, is get to know the other people that are on the trip as well. They may not be from UAB. They may be from Montevallo. They may be from somewhere else. They may be from Pennsylvania. We have people from Pennsylvania on our trip to France and England. And you get to know other people, people that are like-minded. Jack, it's been fantastic having you with us for the last hour. I'm going to drop in the chat real quick, too. We have an in-person travel night. That's an ugly address that I just dumped, so I don't know if that's going to look all that good. But let me make one that's easy to get to. And it's just simply alumni.uab.edu/travel night. That is going to be in May at the Alumni House in Birmingham. Monday, May 12th, 2025. Doors are going to open at 5:30. We're going to have Jack. We're going to have our other travel partners as well. Presentations will start at 6. We're going to have light hors d'oeuvres for y'all, as well as beer and wine as you get to know more about these trips. So if this is just kind of whetting your desire to go on one of these and you want more information and you want to actually talk to Jack in person, join us in May for our in-person travel night. And he'd be more than happy to talk to you and walk you through everything. He's an open book. I tell you, he's great to work with, and we're very privileged to be able to call him our friend. So with that, Jack, I appreciate you being with us and taking the time to showcase these upcoming trips. And we hope it's something that entices our audience to join us and become alumni travelers.
Hope to see you on the next trip.
And a quick reminder before we share some upcoming webinars, today's presentation was recorded. We will upload it onto our website tomorrow, and we'll also send out an email letting you know when it is ready. Now, as for some of those upcoming webinars, on March 18th, we're going to welcome Dr. Parker Woodruff as we explore the science of social media and AI, unlocking its power while understanding its challenges. On March 25th, members of the Collette School of Business Career Center, actually that's been moved now to April 10th. You see that down there. I think I have it on there possibly twice. No, I don't. So we just did this late last week. April 10th, members of the Collette School of Business Career Center will join us for First Impressions Matter, Build a Resume That Wows. March 26th, Dr. Alan Gorman returns for Leading with Heart, the Power of Compassionate Leadership. And on April 3rd, we'll be joined by a psychiatric mental health nurse for the power of goal planning, a step-by-step process in making it happen. You see all the dates right there. You see where to register, alumni.uab.edu/events. We're also quickly approaching our 19th annual scholarship run presented by Viva Health. Join us in Crestline Village or virtually on April 12th as we raise money for student scholarships. Register for our 5 or 10K fun run or virtual options by visiting alumni.uab.edu/run. Finally, let us know how we're doing. The QR code on your screen is going to take you to a very brief survey. Share your thoughts on today's presentation and what types of webinars you'd like to see in general in the future. So once again, thanks so much for joining us. And as always, go Blazers.
Thank you.
All right, EG.
All right.
I think we're good.
I think so. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, take care. Bye.